Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be reviewing the newest EC, 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼. 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼 is going to be launched in Yishun this year. And what makes it so exciting is that it's not only the first EC launch of 2022, but it's also the first EC launch in Yishun after a 6-year period. The last one being Signature. So a lot of people were quite apprehensive, they were a little unsure after the last round of cooling measures. They were wondering how EC is going to perform, how new ECs will perform. This is going to tell us quite a bit about how the general market is going to perceive new EC launches moving forward. And because we have two new ECs coming up in Tampines and Tengah, right? That's going to give us a lot of information to prepare for the new ECs ahead as well. And of course, for the people who like Yishun, you're not going to find another EC for a long time. Right? In terms of location, 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼 is actually located right next to the Yishun Dam. It's next to a project called Symphony Suites right now, and 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼 has a highest floor of 14th floor, which is very similar to Symphony Suites' highest 15th floor. Other than that, surrounding you, the other units are not as high, so your view is generally unblocked. And for a total of 616 units, 4 units on every block with 11 blocks in total, 616 units puts 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼 slightly on the higher side or larger side of EC launches. Right? We have projects like Armory, which is about 400 units. So 616 is slightly higher, slightly larger for the people who prefer slightly more transaction volume, prefer more liquidity, and prefer maybe a little more lively neighborhood. Right? Nearby to you, nearby to 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼, you have immediately within walking distance Junction 9. Slightly further off, you can walk to Wisteria Mall, or you can drive or take a public transport, or walk if you really feel up to it. Wisteria Mall, North Point Mall, and Canberra Plaza. Since it's right next to the Yishun Dam, your nearby highways are the SLE and TPE as well. Right? So connectivity for the people who are driving. This is what you're looking out for. It's not going to be so convenient to get to the CTE if you need to travel to town area or travel to the east every day. But TPE, not an issue as well. Not an issue, TPE and SLE, very conveniently located. So who are the developers, right, for 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼? 𝗏𝗏𝐽𝐼 is developed by Sing Holdings, and you will remember them from projects such as Robin Residences, Park Botania, and Waterwoods. So something that is interesting to note is that Sing Holdings, before the recent years, they have primarily been doing very small boutique high-end freehold projects such as your Robin Residences. Only in recent years, they have started to venture a little, and they are doing Waterwoods, which is their EC, the first EC they did, and Park Botania, a condo that they did, a private condo that they did. So let's look a little more about Sing Holdings to understand like how this developer has done and whether we have any, to put it bluntly, any confidence in them. Okay, so the past projects I'm going to just use because they have a bunch of freehold projects that they did, such as Robin Residences. They have a few other Dre Residences or something as well. But I'm just going to compare the mass market ones, which is generally available to us. Looking at it, this is the chart for Waterwoods and Park Botania. Park Botania is just hitting the 3-year SSD mark now, so there's a lot of sub-sale ongoing, right? It's not finished building yet, a lot of sub-sale ongoing for Park Botania, but if you refer to my previous infographic, it's one of the projects that did very well in the Sengkang region in the sub-sale market for 2022, right? Absolute great profits for people there. I think we've seen 300, almost 400,000 highest recorded profits for Park Botania. Very good. And for Waterwoods as well, for ECs in general in Singapore's market, they tend to do really well. After MOP, after 5-year mark, most EC owners do make a fair sum of money, right? Waterwoods is no exception. And let's look a little more at the other ECs in Singapore. Not just Waterwoods, not just Park Botania, but to look at what the other ECs, how ECs have been performing in Singapore. So nearby ECs around Yishun area, I took some of the closest ECs around the area to show you like the graph chart, the price chart. We're talking everything here from a very, very financial, very typical aspect right now. We'll move on to the technicals, to the actual unit itself a little further. But in terms of price point, what are we looking at? Are we looking at profits? Yes, for ECs, we are always concerned with profits because ECs are the best performing property asset class in Singapore, right? You get to purchase at a subsidized rate, and they've always typically recorded really, really good per annum profits, provided you are able to apply for it lah. Provided you are able to apply under one of the HDB schemes, right? So looking at this chart, you can see all of the projects, Visionaire, Criterion, Brownstone, Signature, One Canberra, all the nearby ECs have all been doing really, really well after they hit their 5-year MOP, and in the recent 2 years as well, after 2021 and towards the tail end of 2020, because of the lack of supply in the market right now, right? So the prices have been really doing really well. But even without the prices doing well, if we just look back maybe 5 more years before, we can still see that most ECs are recording really good profits. This is the recent land bid prices for the recent ECs that we are still selling, or we've been selling the last 1.5 years, right? You see very familiar names: Park Canberra, Park Central, Piermont, Ola, Park Greenwich, the most recent one, and Provence Residences closest to us at Canberra. So land bid prices, what does it mean? These land bid prices are the prices that the developers bought the land from the government for. So the developers are paying about, in the case of Pier 1 Grand, they paid $583 per square foot to the government to acquire the land, and eventually they sold the land to our sellers to our buyers at 1151 PSF, right? So of course Pier 1 Grand is sold out. What we have left in the market: Ola, Park Greenwich, Provence Residences, average about 1,200 PSF right now. For North Gaia, looking at the land bid prices and looking at the recent trends of ECs, we should be expecting about 1,200 PSF. Alright, so this is the price we are going to go off on tangent and say it's going to be about 1,200 PSF, and officially nobody can tell you the official price yet because it's not released, right? The developers have not released the price, and they will only release the price after show flat previews. So no point guessing, but a good estimate would be 1,200 PSF, and that will mean our 3-bedroom units that are about 930 square feet would put us about 1.1 million or so. Next 2 projects that I mentioned, the next 2 ECs that's so exciting for us, Tengah EC and Tampines EC, they obviously bought the land a lot higher, right? So Tengah EC, they bought their land at 600 PSF. Tampines, they bought their land at 659. So that's almost, for Tengah, it's slightly less than 10% increase. And for Tampines EC, it's a 20% increase or so, around 20%, right? Slightly less than 20% increase. If we translate that to price, we should be looking at about 1,300 PSF for these 2 projects, and that means for us right now, if you are looking to buy a brand new EC under 1,200 PSF and possibly to push us a bit on a larger unit, especially for own stay out, if you are looking for a 3-bedroom premium 1,000 square feet, slightly higher, or looking even for a 4 or 5-bedroom unit, North Gaia would be one of the choices left that's new, right? Because next one coming up, Tengah EC, Tampines EC, 1,300 PSF would mean the budget you have for a 4-bedroom, which is 1.3 M, can suddenly only afford a 3-bedroom premium there, which is about 1,000 square feet, right? For Tampines EC, if you go by 1350. Okay, so let's look at the next part, which is the recent land bid prices of ECs. The recent prices of ECs, right? So from the time they started launching, Pier 1 Grand was the first to hit the market, followed by Park Canberra. Park Canberra and Pier 1 Grand are obviously both were already sold. We have Ola, Park Greenwich, and Provence left. But the prices we have, you can see, even throughout the sale right now, it's picking up the prices are picking up. Park Canberra ignoring the last bit where it's already sold out. Most of the other projects have increased in price. Park Greenwich had a small dip, right? I think it's probably because the smaller units are mostly sold. People are buying the larger units, which is a lower PSF, and that's bringing the average PSF down just a little bit, right? So recent prices we've seen, they are initially launched at 1,100 PSF, maybe 1,150 for Ola. Now they are also transacting about 1,200 PSF even before they finish building. So why is that so? Why does this happen? Very easy way to understand this is because developers are businessmen as well. They know they are selling properties, they're selling something that is a specific supply within the market, and the supply can't provide fast enough to catch up to demand. Since there is an increase in demand, they know they are able to push the price slightly more. And that's what's going to happen for North Gaia as well. For the people who are able to get in early, generally you will see some slight increase, 3 to 5% along the way. Your biggest bulk of increase for ECs though will always be at your 5-year MOP mark. That's when you are able to sell it to the secondary market as a resale EC. That resale EC is going to be considered a private property, and that's why more people are able to afford that. Right? Okay, so tying everything back, what is our verdict, right? Based on the developer. Can we trust Singh Holdings? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, because this is their second EC that they've done before. Waterwoods has had really good performance. So far, nothing major that stood out. This is their third leasehold private project as well, after what's that thing called? Park Botania, right? So both projects have had really good track records for performances wise, and we should expect that since Singh Holdings have had history of developing freehold boutique projects, we should expect that they are able to bring some of that luxury to their leasehold projects as well. Something we are very eagerly looking forward to for North Gaia. Alright? So one of the things that I'm going to go out on a limb here and say is the location is not as ideal for people who do not drive. Right? All ECs, I think, generally do not fall within close proximity to any MRT stations, or they are the best you can look for is they are close to LRT stations, like units such as the Vales or River Park, Amore are generally quite close to LRT stations. But to be close to MRT station is not a very common trait, so something we have to live with for ECs, right? It's also why we are able to buy them at such cheap prices and eventually sell them, because that buffer there is just so much, right? New ECs now selling at 1.2k PSF. New launch condos are selling at 1.8k PSF. That's a very huge buffer you have to even go. If you just went from 1.2k PSF to 1.4k PSF on a 3-bedroom unit, that is still a 200k profit. If you went to 1.5k PSF, that is a 300k profit, right? So what else do we know about North Gaia? So since it's located within Yishun, there's a good mix of malls within a very close distance next to each other, right? Very convenient for you to travel, and especially Junction 9 is just walkable distance, within walkable distance. It's 5 minutes walk out, for all your supermarket needs or dining needs. Yishun, to be very frank, I mean, Yishun does tend to have its own clientele. Some people generally do not like the whole vicinity as much. Not starting a civil war here, but it's something to know whether you are okay with Yishun, right? In a way, this creates an opportunity because less competition might mean you get your unit of choice much better. You get the first dips on what you think is your unit of choice, and since it's next to the water side, there could be stacks that are facing the water out front, right? Facing towards Seletar Island. That's going to be very in demand, very hot, right? Entry price wise, so I think the elephant in the room here is our next two projects, Tengah and Tampines, are 10 to 20% more expensive than North Gaia in terms of land. If developers want to maintain the same profit margins, we should be looking at about 10 to 20% price increase. So if 10 to 20% price increase would mean that at the minimal, then Tengah EC will be selling at 1.3k PSF, and the Tampines EC will be about 1.4k to 1.5k PSF. So this, well, I mean, generally I would say for investors, if you are looking for investment, 100% investment, and you're not staying for yourself, then the price you enter doesn't matter as much as the money you can make and the price you can exit. But because EC is generally a hybrid of own stay and investment, your EC, you need to consider that although you may still earn that 2 to 300k from your Tengah EC, from your Tampines EC when your 5-year MOP is hit, but you have to contend with a smaller unit size for the 5-year MOP period, right? As I mentioned, the 4-room that the budget for a 4-bedroom unit that you were looking for suddenly can only afford a 3-bedroom unit because average PSF has gone from 1.2 to 1.4k PSF. So floor plans wise, unfortunately we still don't have anything. We don't have a 2-bedroom unit in North Gaia. There's no 2-bedroom units. It's 3, 4 and 5-bedroom units, and we should expect the majority of the unit choices to be 3 and 4-bedroom because that is the most popular and the most in-demand layouts for ECs. Lack of 2 bedrooms may be a turn-off for small families with 1 kids or without any kids as well. So do consider that you'll be looking at least a 3-bedroom unit, which is generally easy to exit in Yishun. Why is that so? Because understanding whenever you want to sell any project, you want to make your profit, you want to book your profit and sell anything in future, you always have to understand who you're selling to, your buyer's market. And in Yishun, that is predominantly families, right? Lots of young families in Yishun, BTO units. These people are starting their small families, and 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom units are the best for them. 5-bedroom is generally for maybe someone with maybe an elderly staying with them, 3 generational families for 5-bedroom units. But 3 and 4 bedrooms will be the easiest to exit, and owing to the size of 616 units in North Gaia, you can expect a lot of liquidity, a lot of transactions to be going through, right? During the whole process, lots of transactions will be going through compared to a smaller project, making it easier for you to get the price that you want. So this is what we have for North Gaia so far. My own analysis and my own opinions here. I do think that North Gaia is going to be a very, very interesting project. It's going to be very, very, I'm going to say profitable. It's going to be very, very in demand because there are people who really like Yishun as well. And since this place is right next to the Yishun Dam, next to the waters, that's something you don't usually find in our recent ECs like Park Greenwich or Provence, location-wise. So that's my analysis. I hope it's been very, very helpful. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you are uncertain of or you even disagree with, I welcome all comments. Hit them in the comment section below and I'll get to answering them. Alright? Cheers! I'll see you at the North Gaia show flat.